Real estate is a people business. We're in the business of building up other people. We're not in the business of selling property, crazily enough.
I'm joined by the legend, John Powell. John is not only a legend, he's the guy and the creative force behind the scenes of countless animations. TV animations, video animations. And oh yeah, by the way, he's got a stack of TV awards and a few Emmys kicking around as well. He's based in Florida and comes with a wealth of stories on how to create standout content. You don't want to miss this little peek behind the scene of this little magic curtain. John, absolutely fantastic to have you. How are you?
Daniel, how are you? Good to see you.
Good. I'm sweating. It's crazy hot in the UK at the moment. We're having a heat wave.
What do you call hot there?
What do we call hot? So yesterday it was 35, and
All right, I'm over here. So what does that mean on the other side in the Fahrenheit? Was 35? What is that?
90.
Oh, that's like late winter here.
Dude, it's incredibly hot. You've got to be joking.
Oh,
They're
you've
like,
been in Florida. I saw you in Florida last year. How'd you handle that?
it was hot, and you seen me after 2 hours, right? I was sunburned. I was tanned.
Yes, you were. Yes, you were.
The Brits can't deal with it. They've kept their kids off of school. The train stations have stopped running. It's just absolute chaos. But yeah, no, it
For
was
90 degrees.
From 90, it goes up to 100. That's the problem. It's that it's been terrible. It's been scary. But let's not get into that. We're here to talk about you, right? And I did,
All right.
you know, I did meet you. The first time I met you was in Florida, and we got on really well. We got a connection that's pretty good. You know, John understands my need to be on TV all the time, and he gets it, right? So he sees it. So John, let me straight away ask you something out of the blue, right? With all your Emmys, with all the skills you've got to create animation, especially into real estate, would you put together a real estate hero or villain?
What's the question again? Real estate hero or villain?
If you was to create a little character to be in real estate, would he be a goodie or would he be a baddie?
Wow, man. I feel like he would be a Jekyll and Hyde type of person. I mean, for the right person, he's the good guy. For the wrong person, he's the bad guy, or he or she, or let's say in Batman, like it's Two-Face. One side is really good and one side is really bad because I mean, if you're doing it right, you're going to be the hero of the day. If you're doing it wrong, you're going to just jack everything up, and then that person's going to say, well, the reason that this blew up is because of my agent. So that's a good question. I think I got to go with
who do you like to Two-Face. So you like to create characters that can go either way. Sometimes, right, especially in real estate and even things we like to see on telly, right? Even the Disney stuff that comes out. Everyone sometimes always prefers the baddie. You know, the baddie has a cool sort of side to him. Do you know what I mean? He's like the guy that everyone thinks, he's pretty cool. So would you play with someone like that? You know, if you was to make me a character, would I have a typical British accent? Because in the States, all Brits are baddies, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. But why do you think that is? Well, James Bond is not.
No, James Bond is not, but everyone else around him is. I think it's just because it's the sound. See, my voice is different because my voice is very London, okay, and very East London. But there is a typical sharp, polished, calm voice that the Brits can use to install power when they speak to you. And I think that's used a lot to, when you hear that kind of sharp voice, people do get a little bit worried. My teacher had that voice. And if he had spoken to me in any way, I'd have been like, what's he about to say next? He's going to kill me, right? He's going to do something wrong. So is that the kind of voice you would want your animation to have?
Well, yeah. I mean, I mean, you were at Aperture, think about all of the Aperture videos that to date that exist. That's a British woman that I made up. All
Wow.
right. To me, that sounds the reason I use her voice. I named her Victoria. But you know you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, of course.
All of the Aperture videos that I created that voice. She doesn't exist. So she's to me that uh she sounds like sophisticated. She sounds like luxury to me. And I mean I workshopped easily 20 different voices for that. And different accents, um, different inflections, different tenors. And she's the one that like resoundingly stood on top. Now, there are times where we might overuse that voice or we might use her at the wrong speed. And it sounds, if you use her at the wrong speed, then it comes out a little sales pitchy or villainy, like you said. But if you use the right speed and she's relaxed and she has space between the words, I feel like she's the perfect mix for Aperture. And so to answer your question, yeah, I mean I would use a British accent because I do, and it's won several awards. What comes out of that voice.
I think when I first heard the voice, the thing that I found, it sounded very international. It was like, this is the perfect voice for people that are crossing the planet, having homes in different locations. This sounds like someone would be there. She wouldn't be at the bar because obviously people like that, don't have to go to the bar, right? She would have that voice. So let's take it back a bit. Let's take it down into the beginning, right? So there's little John, 7, 8 years old, right? In school, yeah, whatever school you're in. I'm pretty sure nobody said, put their hand up and said, you wanted to go into animation and have a career in real estate, right? It was probably, I want to be Superman. I want to be, I want to be a fireman. I want to do something like that. So what led you into the path of, was it animation first and then you started to use that in real estate, or was it another thing that led you into animation? Because animation's your strong point. I've seen some of the other stuff you've done with LPT and Larry the Bird stuff, and it is superbly brilliant the way that sometimes you craft it to be comical but delivering a point, and it's very, very good. It's it is very good. So what led you into that? There must have been, was there a mentor behind it? Is it something that happened to you when you was a younger age and you was like, I'm just going to get into this situation? You didn't really know whether it was going to be a career, but you just started playing with it when you was a kid. What made you decide to go down that route?
Going back, I've always wanted to be. Um, I mean, well, originally I wanted to be play in the NBA, but my talent and my knees didn't help. So that didn't work out. Um, so around 15, 16 years old, um, I used to watch Sports Center every day. Uh, and I would watch as they were starting to add, their graphics were more like animation style, 3D graphics, the red ball spinning and all the lights and everything. And I'm like, I didn't even know it was a career. For animating to me was The Lion King or Disney and drawing. And I went to Disney World as a kid, and I watched all um, the animators doing their thing behind the glass and everything. I'm like, I really want to do that because I would draw, pencil and paper and the old 2D method, and I had no idea what 3D animation was. So fast forward to going into college and blew out a knee in high school, so that first plan was completely done. Um, Probably wouldn't have went too far anyway. Anyway, but I uh, I went to school for 3D animation, didn't understand the two axes, Y and X. I could not get that third axis, the Z axis. I couldn't understand it. My brain didn't do it. And then just one day, I remember being like, it was like 3 a.m. and I was trying to figure out a project in 3D animation, and it just clicked. And I got up and I went to my computer in my dorm room, and I was like, I understand 3D now.
Wow.
It's like being reborn, like in the Matrix. It's like waking up and saying, like, we've been drawing with X and Y for my whole life, and now I have this third dimension. And from there on, I became great at it. And like storytelling is always one of the things that um, I've always been good at, and finding humor where there is no humor. Um, so then after college, um, I was working at Nickelodeon at Nick Jr.
Right. Okay.
For those in the States, maybe I don't know, maybe it was over there. There was Nick Jr. had a thing called Face. It was for little kids. It was this big face on the screen, and would talk to the kids between the TV shows. And I was working on that. I was the animator for that. Um, but then I went to a job fair by chance, and ESPN was there, and I didn't need a job, but I was like, I I definitely want to talk to you guys. And they were impressed with with my reel and everything. And my job at Nickelodeon, like they canceled the contract, and 2 weeks later, ESPN called and said, "Hey, could we convince you to come out to Bristol?" And the timing was perfect, so
Yeah,
I went out
yeah.
there. Um, Worked there for 3 years. That's where the first Emmy came from, with Sports Center. And then somebody had the brilliant idea to offer me a job down here in Florida, and they brought me down for 1 day in March, where I called in sick to ESPN. I get on the plane that they bought me a ticket. I go to the airport at like 5 in the morning, come down to Orlando. The guy takes me around, shows me all the good spots in Orlando. He forgot to show me the bad parts. They were trying to really get me to leave ESPN and come to Fox Sports in Orlando. And then they sent me back that night. And when I get back to Connecticut, my car is covered in an inch of ice,
No
because there was
way.
a huge, yeah, a huge blizzard just came by, and I'm pounding on my car to try to get in. And at that point, I'm like, yeah, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of Connecticut and go to Florida. And things happen with Fox Sports and Golf Channel and a few other networks. And then just one day, I don't really even really know why, but I walked into I was asked to come to an interview for a job for motion graphics. I mean, there's a longer story here, but I don't want to make a long story longer. But I originally didn't think it was a fit, and I turned down the offer. But there was a mix-up there. The person that was interviewing me, who could possibly be watching this, um, uh, she was interviewing two people that day, and she gave me the offer for somebody else, and
No
it was,
way. That's
and it wasn't, yeah, it wasn't the number that I would have like done it for. I also didn't know I was going into a real estate company. All right,
wow.
so Listing Power Tools was the name. That's where LPT came from.
Yeah, yeah.
Listing Power Tools. I didn't know what listing meant, because I mean I'm not in the real estate world, all right? See,
Of
I
course.
am not I'm not a real estate expert. I'm an attention expert. Marketing is my thing. I thought I was going into a power tools company, for
Wow.
real. Yeah,
For real. So
I
you've
thought I
got
was
like
going to
zzz and
yeah,
diggers and all that
Milwaukee
kind
or
of.
Ryobi or whatever. That's what I thought I was going into, like a startup. But yeah,
Yeah.
but then so I turned it down, and then I got another call, and she said, "Hey, we want you to come talk to our president or CEO." So I go back in, luckily, the office was literally a mile from where I lived.
Yeah.
So I went back in. I go into this office. This guy's sitting across the table. He's got baseball cap, shorts, flip flops, and it's just beard, like a 3-day beard. He was just talking and like shooting it with me, right? And he knew TV. He knew animation. He saw my reel. He knows what I've done with Fox and ESPN at the time. Yeah, I had all 6 Emmys. And
Wow.
then we're talking for a long time. This other dude comes in. He starts talking about how he used to work in at the Golf Channel, so we knew a lot of people, the same people. And he's talking. And the CEO guy keeps talking. Then like something clicked in my head. I'm like, I think I know this guy's voice. And I looked at him because again, hat, beard, like just a regular dude. I'm like, are you the RP funding guy, Robert Palmer? He was like, yeah, yeah. Like he's all over TV. I'm like, I I see your commercials like 20 times a day for the last 6, 7 years. I had no
Wow.
idea it was him. And the guy that walked in was Matt Levy. So I kind of just dropped. Yeah, he was like, yeah, look, we gave you the wrong offer, or there was a mix up. And then he gave me an offer that I was like, yeah, that makes more sense. And so here I am. And I've been in real estate now without knowing a thing about real estate for 10 years.
Well, that is fantastic in itself because being in and around real estate, you pick everything up, right? You must have heard all the stories. You're a very superb storyteller yourself that, and you can use that animation to deliver that point and get it across, which is a skill that hardly anyone has. I mean, I don't. And it's something that was recognized. And that was clearly, why Robert actually see that and sat down and was really trying to drill you in with, look, we're landing this guy, right? He's not walking out of here unless we've started to, wanting to go with this. So we're going to go with it. Okay. And that's it. And I think that's just absolutely amazing that you got into this so well and so early. And that's what started to happen. And it's amazing that where that leads into and what happens from where was you at the moment? You was just with your own team.
Yeah, yeah, I was doing a lot of work with MLB Network, the baseball channel. Um, at that point, I had some big clients that were kind of running their course. I didn't know how long I'd be like doing their products. So one was a cigar company. Um, I liked getting free swag from them. That was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a major cigar company that I worked with. I went down to Honduras with them. I did a lot of shooting with them, and like so, what you were saying before about animation, I did mainly animation for most of my career, and then when I got to Fox Sports, I kind of like I was tired of handing my animations off for someone else to edit or someone else to put music to or someone else to do anything. So I started learning it myself. Like I would say right now, I probably edit more than I animate at this point, but um, I mean, I'm pretty much a one-stop shop as far as like I also create music, sound effects, like pretty much from start to finish. I do it all. So for 10 years, I've been, well, actually, so maybe for like 7 or 8 years, I've been the one-stop shop here in the office. Anything that came out of Robert Palmer Companies, LPT, RP Funding, Listing Power Tools, LPT Realty, Aperture, that came out of my office, which is I'm in right now. Um, but we have a team now that does all the live with Davey and his guys, and well, Kyle does all the print and everything. He has his team, but yeah, I mean we're a small team, but everybody wears a lot of hats here. So,
Yeah.
um, and like you said before, like I sit in rooms where I have no business being in, as far as like um, l- learning about real estate and like the top tier people that in the country, in the world, sit in these rooms that 99.9% of agents in the world have no shot of getting into. And here I am, some kid from New York, sitting in these rooms, and it's been a pretty wild ride.
It has, but look, everything happens for a reason. And like I said a minute ago, there's other people that can't do what you've done, and there's a very few amount of people that can. And then there's an even smaller amount of them people that are willing to dedicate what they're doing into a real estate company, because it's kind of different, right? And we're watching the world of real estate over the last, since you joined over the last 10 years, it's going down a completely different road to, the old school. I've been doing it 31 years. I can remember it when it came out and what it was like and how different it is now before Instagram, before we cracked into this world of TV shows and, doing stuff on TV and real estate becoming trendy and rock and roll real estate. Right, and everyone, and where the hell did that come from, and who put that down and said it? And now you've got, basically, mini skirts and penthouses everywhere, and it's changing and it's getting different, and there's so many people involved in real estate that aren't in real estate. And there's so many people doing real estate that shouldn't be doing real estate. John, you're someone that should be doing real estate. And this was clearly recognized. And listen, you've got the background, you've got the awards. How many TV awards are you rocking with at the moment?
We won 16 tellies this year, which doubles our
16.
tellies.
What's a telly? Like a TV award? Like that?
The national it's an award that's to me is not right up there with an Emmy, but it's right underneath.
Yeah, I'll take right underneath.
Yeah, that's just my opinion. I'm sure the people at Telly would not appreciate any of that, but there's three of them. There's a bronze, silver, and gold. Getting a bronze is hard to do in itself. Getting the silver is some people's number one dream, and the gold is unheard of. And we have, I think we have 5 golds, and 8 silvers, and then right now we have a total of 32.
32.
We doubled, yeah.
In the last 10 years?
In the last 4 years.
In the last 4 years. So you're just growing, and this is stuff that you've pumped out. It's all real estate stuff, right?
Yes, all of it, yeah.
Dude, that's just amazing. And especially like what you just said, that your start, middle, and end. So you're the start of the book, the middle of the book, and the end of the book on everything that you come into. So do you think you're a control freak?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, the middle is not. The start is me and Davey. Davey Stewart is immensely. I mean, you know Davey.
Yeah,
He's
yeah, I know
immensely
Davey, yeah.
talented. Him and his guys. We have. We'll come up with the idea together. He'll come up with it, how it's going to be done on the technical side. Because I can hold the camera, I can shoot. Like I said, I learned all of it, but I'm at that. I am not the best shooter in the world. So before Davey came along, I was shooting a lot of stuff, but now it's him and his guys. He gets much better shots than I'll ever get. So for an example, we did the Team Growth Plus trip to Montana last year, and we always make these recap videos of most of these big time events that we go to. And the Dream Big Big Sky event last year, we had this idea to make this epic 2 to 3 minute monologue driven basically cinematic recap. This whole idea of the agents walking away from the helicopter that they just flew into the mountains, and we wrote the script, We created the score, we created the whole timeline we created, but we just didn't have the shots yet. Before we went out there, we had everything created, um, and storyboarded and pretty much laid out. And when we got there, we had the plan, and we just shot the entire 4 or 5 days we were there, rodeo shots and all this other stuff. And so it was easy, but you said the beginning, middle, and end. The beginning and the middle, I got guys working with me. The end is all me though. I will not. I'll do the edit. I'll do the all the post production, all the animation, everything. Music. I create the music, and yeah, I am a control freak because I really don't want to give that off. Like I
I
do.
think you,
I have.
I think you
Yeah,
have
go
to
ahead.
be. Yeah, I think you have to be. When you're clearly passionate about what you're doing, and it's your personality that's being delivered. Whether you want to take that on board or not, you should, because it's you and your creativity, and you've delivered something, and it's like you want it to be perfect. It isn't like, you get an artist, and an artist, creates something and does a vision of someone with oils and canvas and never wants to look at it again, because they're always thinking, no, that wasn't good enough. That's done and that's out there, and that's what I was doing now, and it's not what I'm doing now next. And they always think, their next big thing is going to be the best thing. I think with animation, it's evergreen. So you could pick up an animation that, is 3 4 years ago, and it's still going to be good. It's still going to be relevant in terms of what you've delivered. And I think that's the amazing thing with animation, is it does live in an evergreen world. Sometimes video and stuff that isn't animated really doesn't, right? Because it's dated and it can stick. Even the clothes people are wearing can date what's going on and what's happening. And, the music as well, can change it. And I think we are coming into a world where people prefer to see stuff animated, okay, because they believe that this sort of person they can either associate with wanting to be that person, or understanding this is someone cute, or this is someone that can look at. I mean, when we look at Larry Bird, you know, and the kind of stuff that you get him doing, going around, with whether it's the Christmas break and he's doing the roundup of the year, to, the when I was at the last thing with you guys, there was Larry talking about the box, and there was this other bird. I can't remember his name, who
Wally.
didn't, but and he didn't have such a great box, right? And yeah, that's him. Yeah, that that's evergreen, mate. That's something that travels with you. It doesn't travel for you. It's something that is always going to be there. And I think that's visionary. And I think that's why you were snapped up. You were snapped up because of that. So, what do you think today? Oh, sorry, just quickly. Did you say you do music as well?
Yes. Yeah. I create uh at this point I pretty much create all the music that we use from scratch. I used to use uh a music catalog that we pay for. I'm using that less and less because if I have an idea, I know exactly the music that I want to be. So instead of going out and searching for it and hoping that the right thing comes along, which a lot of times it does, but at this point now I just create it from scratch.
Wow. So, did you have any background in music? Any teachings in music, or is this all kind of stuff that you've had to develop your skill set for, because you've decided, being a control freak, you need to control the whole part of it?
I taught myself piano when I
You
was in high
did not.
school.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not playing any concerts at any
Okay.
point, any time, but I mean, I can play. So I know music. I come from a rather musical family. I mean, I understand it. I hear it well. I know what sounds good and
Right.
what does not.
Yeah.
I know if something's wrong, if I'm at a cover band or whatever, I know if the bassist is not that good, but the drummer is amazing and or vice versa, where I very much annoy my wife by pointing things like that out anywhere we go, and she doesn't really want to hear it. Um, so that's um, I've just always done it. But now, with all the tools available now, including Suno and other AI applications, like you can build your own music from scratch, and
Wow.
people don't understand, and people are afraid or downplay AI, and I think here in the real estate world, also especially in this company, Aperture and LPT, I think everybody's starting to understand that AI is here, and it should never replace you. It should always help you. So the music that I make with AI, it starts in AI and then it gets pulled out and then completely produced on my end.
Yeah. I think that, and AI is becoming a big thing. And the fact that you can use it to kickstart your ideas is something I use a lot. And I find it helpful to do that and to move it on. And I think there are a lot of agents, and I hate tech. If I use something, it always goes wrong or whatever. But I persevere with it until it's kind of like part of it. And I don't think you can ever engineer people out of people. It's not like, it's something that's a robot that's replacing something manually that unfortunately can be replaced. We are a people industry first. We're not about bricks and mortar. That's second to what we do. You've got to be able to have someone that communicate with people, and you need empathy. You need a certain skill set that enables a good agent to be a good agent. And I think when we're looking in the world of luxury that we're moving into, which is a massive overused word, but it's the one that fits the bill, so we use it. I think the agent is now the luxury. They're the person that's delivering quality at a level that other agents can't deliver. So they're relying on too much things to fill it in, to like AI using Chat GPT and everything when they're communicating with clients. I think that's a good way to kick off a conversation, but it isn't the way where it should go to. You need to be able to have an imprint that's left on someone. And to date, AI hasn't been able to do that. It hasn't touched the soul. And I know that sounds a little bit deep, but that's what I think separates people that talk for a living, which is what we do, to people that don't. And as we go into this world, when you said earlier, there's this X and Y basis that you could understand, writing down on a piece of paper and you could get it. But it was the other access. You was laying in bed and you was panicking and you was waiting, and when you was a younger kid at school, 18 or whatever, it just came to you and you got up that night and you could get it. That's how people start to come into AI, because they don't understand it. They're not around it. They're getting used to it more, but they are also getting forced a little bit into it too fast. And in a world that's always is constantly traveling too fast already, it's kind of like that's the fear. It isn't the fear of the AI, it's the fear of everything getting too quick and getting too fast. And it's just like that's where they want to kick back. How often do you see AI being used in real estate, and what benefits has it done over like the last 5 years? Because I'll give you an example. I use it a lot when I'm sales chasing, which is when we're checking a sale, checking where it is at the situation, has they had the survey done, any building regulation issues we need to deal with. I just get AI to deal with that, right? Because it's talking to, a solicitor or a lawyer, and it just needs questions answered and comes back. So setting that up to get AI to do that makes everything faster. I love it. I use it for touting. So we use AI and we set it up and we have a company that does it, and it maps everything that's been put on the market, how long it's been on the market, and what the
Oh yeah.
probability is. Yeah, we have that all set up, automated, and it sends post out for us. We don't even have to send the post out, right? And that all happens and goes on. It's also getting to the point now we have another bit of AI that is working on probability of something should be coming onto the market the next year. So it's actually giving you postcodes, and in
Wow.
them postcodes, actual houses where, right, this house hasn't sold for, say, 10 years. there's a probability that they might sell now. And it uses some sort of algorithm to work that out. And it's suggesting to you, you should start canvassing these people because they're coming up. So that, love it. When we're talking to your side of it, which is less real estate and more, animation, storytelling, how have you used AI?
Well, first of all, what you just said is just, isn't that, it's wild. I mean, this all came about probably, and there's no one was talking AI before pretty much 2020. Um, I feel like when the world shut down, the developers said, all right, this is the time um, to blow this thing up. And then we came out of the lockdown and all that. And like it was like off to the races. Um, but I feel like on my end and the visual side of things, uh, it's it's very apparent that everybody's using, or most people are using. The people that aren't are really going to get left behind, unfortunately. But I think that the danger is when everyone starts using the same tools the same way, then everything starts to look and sound the same. And the people who win will be the ones who use AI for speed, but keep their own perspective. And that's that's clear. I mean, and the trends, any trend that ChatGPT says, all right, this is what everything's going to look like right now, and you go down your Instagram or your Facebook page and you see everybody's got the same thing.
Yeah.
And that is one of the big fears that I have. And it's just like it's going to wash everything and nothing's going to stand out. I mean, um, there's really one of the things that puts me and Robert in the same room together is the fact that he is huge on marketing. And the biggest thing about putting yourself um, like separating yourself from the crowd is good marketing. But if everybody's doing the same thing, you're not separating anything. There's 1.5 million realtors, real estate agents in the US. All right.
Yeah.
1.5 million. And I I think the average income I mean, you take the highest and the lowest, and the average is around $60,000 a
You're
year,
correct. Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is not livable. Really, I mean, it's
No, it's
livable,
not.
but
Yeah, but that's not salary. It's terrible.
yeah. So how do you get to the tier that you need to be to live off this industry? And that's marketing. And AI will help you. It absolutely will help you because you can take a photo of a home and turn that photo into a video. I mean, if you do it too much, you don't want to do it. You don't want to take a photo and make a 3-minute video out of it because AI will change that house.
Yeah.
And the people that claim they know so much about AI, a lot of them are the loudest. Um, it's clear that they don't know what they're talking about. And it's unfortunate because they're too loud to stop and ask someone to help them because they know it all already. So I saw a post by somebody, obviously not going to say any names, but um, where they said, we took this house that was dilapidated and we turned with some work and hard work and my knowledge in real estate, we turned it into this house where it would have we bought it for this much, but we sold it for this much more. And it's just side by side. And yeah, it's this dilapidated home. And on the other side, it's beautiful, but it's a drone shot. And it's the same drone shot.
Right.
All the tree in the back is the exact same. It's on the same angle, the same height. And the one thing that the next door neighbor's house is a different color. It's like,
Yeah.
dude. So wait, you put a drone in the air, took a shot of this house, did months and months, maybe a year of work on it, put the same drone at the same height, the same shot, and you painted the neighbor's house. Like, bro,
Yeah. Did you?
anybody
Did
with a
you?
brain can anybody with a brain can see that this is AI. Like, you took a really nice home, put it in ChatGPT, and show me this if it was if it was the trees were overgrown and the shrubs were no good, blah 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 blah. Blah. Show me this, and then and it put it out. Yeah, okay, same shot, and you put it out there as if you did a bunch of work to this home. Like, you're not. Anybody can see that you're not being honest here.
Yeah.
So, and look, another thing is headshots. You know what's going on with headshots. I mean,
Yes, I do. Yes, don't. I've got a load of agents now that are sending me pictures. Look at my new photo. Look at my new picture that I did on Grok. And I'm like, dude, you listen, look, no offense, right? You're not 20 years younger. Okay. This just doesn't look like you. I love you, but your teeth looks great in this picture. Okay. I'm standing, okay. You listen, this is the fear, right? And this is where the personality agent lives and wins. Is most of them, everything gets bleached into the bleach. AI bleaches everything out. Okay. And everyone gets lost in that bleach. Because like you said, they all do the same thing, use the same AI. And they all think it's great because they're agents and they've only just discovered it this afternoon. Okay. And so they think it's brilliant. So they're using it. And what we're really doing is the world becomes visually magnolia. And they're living in that magnolia world, which they think's colourful because they think AI has painted for them and made it look so fantastic, made it look exciting. And just because something's exciting doesn't mean it's marketing. Okay, some of the best marketing that I've ever seen done is marketing that's been so still, like the Golf GTI ad, where the guy takes the woman and he puts a blindfold on her, and she's never seen the car, and she gets in the car, and they're driving along to an area, and then he stops and he takes a blindfold off, and the girl goes, "Wow, look at this car," and the guy looks at her and goes, "The car isn't the prize." And it's just that does it make you stop and stare? That's marketing. I see. We got this wobbly bridge in London called the Millennium Bridge, which if
all
you
right.
walk across it, it wobbles. Okay. I walked across that, and halfway across it, there was a box, right? Just a box. And written on black ink in the box was, "If it makes you stop and stare, it's art." And at the end was two guys laughing. And I walked up to him. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "We got doing an art project." I said, "So what have you done?" He said, "Well, we didn't have nothing. We've got to be in tomorrow. So we found a box. So we just thought we'd put it in the middle of the bridge and write on it." And I thought, that is cool. That's how you make people stop, stare, and think. If you're making people just go, "Oh, this is fantastic," or "Oh, this, look how attractive this guy is, and look how attractive this girl is," that's not making them think. They're getting so used to that now. It's become so current. It's become so all real estaters are gorgeous, and they're driving around in Bentleys, and they're looking like this, and they're all earning 60 grand a year, like you just said, John. Their lifestyles do not compute. They do in this visual world that they can go and run away and hide, but they can't run away and hide in 2, 3 years when they're like, "My return's in and my tax return, and I've got to do this." They've got to grow up with it. So there has to be an impassionate play on AI and people and personalities and bringing that forward. And that's how you win. And that's how we move it forward. And that's what I'm trying to do at Aperture without ranting.
Well, eventually, I mean, you can do whatever you want on AI, but eventually you're going to have to meet this person face to face. And if they're talking to an avatar that you put through 7 different AI apps, and now this person doesn't look like you, they're going to show up to the meeting and they're going to like, who are you? I've been talking to this model for about 2 months. Who are you? And then it's almost like catfishing.
Yeah.
Um, it's catfishing your clients. Like, not that not that anybody should choose an agent based on their photo, but I mean, you're also writing all your scripts, what you're going to say to them in AI. You're also showing them AI manipulated images of what you've done, and you're showing them like things that just don't exist. Like, yeah, well, show me the house that you're selling. Some of these the images of homes too, like, oh, look what how I'm gonna market your home. It's completely AI. That doesn't look like my house.
Yeah, and people can see it. There is an element that people are aware, and then some people are too over aware. You know, they go looking for it, and there's too much. There's too many layers putting into it. But you know, it's if it's done correctly, because there is such a big part in our life that this is going to make up now, and there's little or much or not nothing we can actually do or would want to do. Because, like I said, there's three things I'm using that are now, you know, if they wasn't there, I'd be like, what the hell? You know, this is like the amount of time I used to spend sounds chasing, the amount of time I used to spend canvassing, and I could never in my possible dreams think that someone will be sending me emails going, this might come on the market because we've been marketing it for 5 years and this has happened and that's happened and no one's moved in, and there's a probability before it even sells of it being able to come in on, and you're the first person round that can use it. That would just be like, you know, another world. But it's made it easy to understand. It's wrapped it up in a nice shiny wrapping that everyone can get to, and it's sometimes it's felt it's made it too easy because everyone is overusing it, you know, and everyone does use it too much. Like you say, they even write their property descriptions, you know, they write down so much stuff and send it out because they can't be bothered to do it. It isn't because they don't know how anymore. A lot of it is because now they're just lazy, you know. And real
Yeah,
estate
it is
agents, yeah,
exactly.
yeah, real estate agents and a lot of other people, you know, are lazy. You know, Bill Gates said, you know, if I want to do a hard task, I pick for the, you know, laziest person on my team because he or she will work out the easiest way to do it. You know, and the easiest way would have been sit down, they work it out and do it. Now it'd be they just pick up Grok or Chat GPT and go, done it. You know, when there's no input to do that, why are then is that person needed in the room? Real estate, there still are, okay, because there's a point where you have to smell that a deal's about to happen. You have to know where to go in with a test close. You know, have to follow that up with a close. You know, you have to then see it across the line correctly. And if I hadn't have watched Robert's thing at the last Falcon, I wouldn't have got so into AI as I had. You know, it's only because I was listening to that. I was like, I've got to listen to this guy. He's here and you know, giving this time to do it. So let's listen. And it's kind of like, okay, that's interesting. And then that's when I found out about the company that does, you know, the probability of stuff coming on the market. And I was like, okay, you know, so their tech's young and everything, but guess what? Young and everything. I want some of that. I want to get involved with that and see where that goes. What you've done brilliantly, and we'll come to an end in a minute. But what you've done brilliantly is instead of just, you know, everyone here, and we just all said it, all the agents, they're writing their own bits out, they're changing their photograph, they're all jumping around in their Bentleys, you know, they're showing this or they're showing that, or, you know, they've had everything's been done, new teeth, they're whiter than white, they're tanned. Animation stops that. Larry Bird and friends stops that because that can be as crazy as you want it to be, because that is animation. And an animation, it's getting hot here. It's getting hot, John. Dan can't do with this weather, telling you. But that is an animation. And that is something, it's not the right word, and I hope you're not offended by it, but you can take it to the ridiculous and get away with
Yeah.
it. You know, that's amazing, mate. That is amazing.
Well, I mean, that's really what the birds were originally. Like RP was the face of RP funding at the time, and he had these new brands coming out, and he didn't want to be also the face of this and this and this because then that would kind of take away from his brand, his original brand. It's like, oh, this guy's just got 17 companies and he's the face of all of them. So I came up with these. I couldn't even tell you how I came up with them, but they popped in one day, and all four personalities are partially my personality. So each of them are a piece of me. But yeah, they are able to do and say things um, on video, but also like on social media that RP can't really say. And if someone gets too angry about it or offended or whatever, he can just say, "Oh, I mean, it's just a cartoon bird. Don't get that offended. It's not it's not that big of a deal." Or plausible deniability as well. But because he kind of gives me a little bit of a leash. Sometimes I go too far, and he says like, "Ah, yeah, we can't say that." But one being what you saw at FallCon, which only the people there saw it. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're watching this and you don't know what we're talking about, you're never going to know because it was only shown to that group of people that were in that room. Because I probably took that one a little far, went after some people that we didn't really need to go that hard after. But yeah, that's what they're for. They're to kind of toe the line and and people do remember the outrageous ones.
Yeah.
Um, And it's something, Robert's not going to go out there talking like Larry or Kurt or Wally or Dean. He has his persona and it works. In fact, the one of the reasons I didn't understand that I was talking to him is that the on-screen guy that RP is, it's not really what he is like when you're talking to him. That's why I didn't really understand it. He has his commercial guy that and anyone in Central Florida or all over Florida and a few other states knows what that is because his commercials ran forever. Um, but then he's got the guy that he is that his employees see, his family sees. It's a different guy, and I know this because I watch him turn it on and off when we shoot commercials. But what I was saying is like the birds are something else. They're an entity that can do things that he's not going to do or doesn't want to do, but sometimes it still needs to be done or said.
Sure.
You know what I
Just
mean?
thinking- Love that. Look, we're all about, I've got an academy and we're into bringing people into real estate and skilling them up and being involved. I always ask people like you that are successful in the industry, what would the younger you, the 19, 18-year-old you say to the older, what would the older you say to the younger you now? If there was any part of advice you could, give out to your younger self, what would that be, John?
I would say it's going to work out. Um, Back then, I didn't know if like I want to do this thing. I don't even know if it's a profession. I don't know if it's sustainable, and I don't know if I'm that good at it. Maybe it's all up here, and I'm the bottom of the barrel. I would say just keep going, just push at it. If you have something that's up here, get it out of here, put it out there, and just keep working at it. Um, Keep evolving. Like I started as an animator, now I'm a producer on all levels. So um, just keep going. The words would be if I had 3 seconds to talk to that guy, the 19-year-old kid, I'd just say keep going, keep going. It's going to
Keep going.
work.
Okay. Look, that's been fantastic. It's been a great conversation with you. I'm not sure if you have Instagram or anything like that.
Uh, I have. I mean, I have Instagram. That's Lawrence K. Bird. Um, Facebook and Instagram. I run that account, um, and that's usually pretty much all I use. So
Just in case
so
anyone does want to reach out to you, they can, right? They
yeah,
can come
Lawrence
that
K.
way.
Bird, Facebook, Lawrence K. Bird, Instagram, and at any time, whoever reaches out to those, they'll get me.
Again. Look, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you, and you've opened my eyes so much into this world and what goes on. Because you are, when we go to these big events and there's a couple of thousand of us are in the room, You know, you're at the back hiding behind a screen somewhere. And it's only when we see the massive screen and what goes on, we all get to clap and cheer actually what is going on. And it's coming from you. You know, it's coming out of your ears and it's your imagination and it's your trip that you take us all on through your mind. And it's a joyous place to go, John. So thank you so much for taking part in our Aperture podcast. And we hope to see each other soon.
Hey, you coming to FallCon?
I'm coming, brother. Try and stop me.
All right.
Try and stop me.
This is going to be a good one. We already got the plan for it. It's going to be pretty crazy.
Love it. Can't wait to see it. Can't wait to be there. And look, guys and girls, that's it for this episode of Private Access. Hit us up for the next one. Remember, subscribe and all the other bits you're meant to do. Like, tick. We're on Amazon, Netflix. Are we on Netflix? I don't know. If we're not, we should be. Netflix, call me back because you put the phone down on me last time, or I put the phone down on you. I can't remember. And we'll see if we can pick that conversation up. Speak soon, guys. Bye.